So I'm starting with the horse race ending just because it's not that long of an ending. It's like one of the shorter ones that I can just kind of do a few easy runs to kind of warm up with. I don't really have I don't know what runs I'm going to be doing or what endings I'm going to be running tonight. It's just kind of, whatever I feel. See where it all takes me. If I feel like doing a slightly longer ending, then I'll do one. If I feel like doing a slightly shorter ending, then I'll do that instead. That's the kind of good thing about there being 9 different endings with this game, though, is that they're all kind of varying degrees of length. So hopefully these horse race endings will go well, because I did actually do a couple of horse race runs on my last stream on Saturday, but the actual runs themselves both failed for a couple of reasons. So I did an actual playthrough, and I got to the end, and that went fine. And then I did a timed run of it, and the timed run was fine. Better than fine. It basically had perfect luck, except for the fact that I forgot to take my horse out at the end of after a specific cutscene, so the horse ended up dying, which may be a whole blip on the perfect run thing, but basically there was perfect luck during the end section. It was actually a really good paced run, and then because of one thing I've kind of forgot to do, wasn't able to finish that run, strangely enough. And then the second run, because I ended up, just because of bad weather luck in the first half, I ended up getting the horse 2 days later than you should, which meant by the time you race Gwen, your horse you haven't had your horse for long enough. So your horse just isn't actually good enough to beat Gwen. Hey Koala Penguin, how's it going? Some pretty decent foraging luck at the start already here. It's just good. Oh, well, that sucks. Well, I hope you get well soon. But yeah, you first one here really. Caught the very beginning of the first run of the day. Oh, I almost hit the yes then. You do not want him to explain part-time work to you, because that's a very big text box. Yeah, I think most people who watch my stream just kind of lurk, but that's fine with me. I'm a professional lurker myself, honestly. Like I just hang in streams all the time and don't chat, so I don't mind people who watch streams and don't really say anything, because I get it. So this is one of the endings where the luck is actually like kind of important. I'm gonna try, just because this is a bit of a shorter ending, I'm gonna try and keep it like as few resets as possible, but I can't really make any guarantees. I think for these first few years I'm gonna try and go like as far into the run as I can without resetting. But I think usually like this and like Azure Swallowtail are usually like the endings that you kind of, you know, when like there are kind of like reset points early on because of weather. And something I actually discovered last stream is that there's a visual cue that you could use to see when, to like kind of find out when everything hits 8 o'clock, which is actually really good, because otherwise you're just like checking the you're checking the pause menu and that takes time. So using like an in-game visual cue means you don't actually use up any real time. But basically what there is so on every day but Thursday, Tim comes down the mountain and then like on his way to outside the supermarket. Oh, come on. So there's like that little like hill section just before you get to like the where the loading zone for the crossroads, or like the crossroads just before like where Brownie Farm is. And there's like a little dark patch that he hits like just at the bottom of the hill, and basically when he passes that, if you exit or if you enter the next area, you basically like as soon as you get to the farm, it'll be like 8 o'clock. Okay. Rainy Thursdays don't actually matter, which is a good thing. So you kind of want to avoid rain in like this first half of the run, because you can't do part-time work on rainy you can't do part-time work on rainy days or Thursdays. But Thursdays are like, you know, just a guaranteed thing anyway, so that doesn't matter. Rainy days aren't guaranteed. But I think you can use rainy day, or you can use Thursdays and rainy days to befriend Bob, because you need to do part-time work 8 times and befriend Bob 11 times. And I think if you get some like, if you get like the extra days, like the 3 days of Bob affection early, you don't have to worry about. There's like a small period in between, like where the rainy season begins and when you like finish what would be like your last day of doing part-time work. So I think that's kind of what you can use these rainy days for. The rainy days and the Thursdays. I think the only problem with regular rainy days is you can't use the visual cue with Tim because he doesn't go out on rainy days. Though I think if you just do some foraging anyway, then you should definitely get to the shop after 8. Nope. So I only need to befriend Bob for one more day without doing the part-time work. I think in a best case scenario that would be on a Thursday. In a worst case scenario that would have to be that would basically just be like the next rainy day that isn't a Thursday. Sure. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to try and get a few items from the villa. This may like push me over 8 a little bit, but I think it means for the most part I probably won't have to worry about doing much more foraging. Okay, so now I only need to befriend Bob like on days where I know I can do part-time work. So I basically just skip every rainy day and every Thursday now. Okay. So it's spring 7 today. The rainy season starts on the 17th. So I think, if my maths is correct, I think maybe there's like one. There'll be one Thursday, maybe two. So if there's one Thursday, because you can't do part-time work on Thursdays, if you could do part-time work every day, I'd have 10 days to do 6 more part-time works. So I'd have room for like 4 more rainy days. But because you can't do part-time work on Thursdays, if there's only one Thursday in between now and the rainy season, which I don't think there is, I think there's 2. If it was 1, then I'd have room for 3 rainy days. But because I think there's 2, I think I only have room for 2 rainy days. So any more than 2 rainy days that aren't Thursdays basically costs the run. Hey Hydraulics, how's it going? Exactly. Get horse, win races. Keeping it simple with these splits, so I know exactly when to split for these ones. I think it was Endangered Weasel when I opened my splits up, and I have like some of the split names are just kind of like, I don't remember when I split for any of these cutscenes because I don't know what cutscene this is, because I'll have it labelled in my splits as like pointless cutscene or something. I think I'm dying. Oh, that sucks. How come? Just ill or? Drank too much, just very hungover then. Let me see, check what day it is today. It's Monday, okay. Think about that, I may only actually get one Thursday between the between now and the rainy season. So that'd be good. Maybe. Well, whatever it is, I hope you feel better soon. Okay, so that was the 7th day. So I've only got 4 more. I don't think I need to do much more foraging, but I'm going to try and pick up a couple more items just to be on the safe side. Okay, this will definitely be enough. Because I've only got 4 more left, and I definitely had at least one berry still on me. Hey Boberto, how's it going? Thanks for the good luck. Oh, let's not give Bob that. Would I run Friends of Middletown Marry the Harvest Goddess if it was routed? So the thing with that question is, if somebody did a run of it, I probably wouldn't use their route just because it's such a long run, and I just much prefer like going like it helps me like learn a game a lot more if like I just go through it myself and route it myself, even if there's like an existing route. And I do actually have some notes on it that I started like 2-3 years ago maybe. But it's such a long run and there's so much like that you kind of have to do for it. I don't know. It's unlikely, but I don't know, maybe it'll be one of those things that I'll do like maybe once as a joke, but definitely not in the foreseeable future. But I'll probably do like, eventually I'll go back to like running the other marriage categories for Friends of Middletown. And that probably won't be anytime soon either, but that's just, I'll get to that at some point. I just don't know when. Okay, so we're actually almost at the end of like the first half of this run. So I kind of look at this run in like two halves, which is split by getting the horse race, getting the horse and then racing with your horse. And basically both halves are kind of like determined by weather luck, which is always fun. So I only actually have 2 days left of part-time work and befriending Bob, so it can still go wrong. Like, I can still get absolutely terrible weather luck now, but I should be fine. I think tomorrow's a Thursday, so I can't go out anyway. And then I think I have like 3, maybe 4 days until the rainy season starts. Okay. So I see, at the beginning of this day, I'm going to do some sickling. Because this is then kind of a backup in case the second half of the run goes not wrong, but in case you get like, okay, in case you get bad weather luck. I'd probably have to spend a little less time sickling than I would have preferred today, just because I picked up that power berry. But yeah, but that's the difference between the first half and the second half. The first half you don't really have like, you have like a certain number of days that you can, that can be rainy and that you can miss before you end up getting, before like you kind of messed the whole run up because of how like getting your horse and stuff works. Whereas the second half you can kind of prepare for, and if you just get like straight sunny days, then that's really good and that's really fast, but you can kind of prepare for it and you can get fodder so that if you don't get if you do get rainy days, it doesn't matter, or it doesn't kill the run basically. Come on. Okay, so I've only got one more day of befriending Bob and part-time work left, and the part-time work day is really quick because you don't actually have to, so the way this first cuts, like how you get the horses determined, is you need to have Bob on, I think it's 30 affection points, and you need to have a combined total of 180, I think it is, affection with all of his horses, which you can only get up by doing the part-time work. So that's why whenever I do the part-time work, I ignore the cow. Because you don't need to get the cow's affection up at all. But so for this last day, because of how much affection I have with the horses, I don't actually need to go and like talk to and brush all the horses. I just need to talk to one horse and then leave. So you don't get paid for the day at all, because you basically just run up, say hey to a horse, and then leave. The Bob's like, what the hell was that? That's not, you didn't do your job at all. But money is not required in this ending, so any money you get from doing the part-time work is just a kind of bonus side effect. Yeah, doesn't really do much. Though actually, it's kind of a nice thing because it means if you're a big old dingus like me and you frequently forget to take your horse out of the barn after a certain cutscene, when it gets sick, that wouldn't necessarily ruin the run, because you can then, the money you make from the part-time work gives you enough money to buy animal medicine. So your horse doesn't actually die, assuming you remember to take it out before it dies. If you don't do that, it still dies. So I just go talk to that horse, and then, assuming I've done everything right, that will be the last little bit of affection I need with the animals, and I'm going to sleep to roughly the end of the rainy season. So I'll be able to tell if I've done it right, because when it hits the 17th, it won't rain, because when there's a cutscene that happens outside of your house, it forces sunny weather, even in the rainy season. So if it gets to the 17th, which is the first day of the rainy season, and it's not raining, that means it's waiting for me to get that cutscene, so it's forcing sunny weather. If it rains, then I know I've messed it up. So there we go. So that's how I know I've got the good ending. I say the good ending. That's how I know I've got the horse. So then you leave on the 21st, the last day of the rainy season. I can't actually remember whether he puts the horse like outside or whether I have to take it out straight away. No, okay, you do have to take it out. A bit of a late split there, but nothing to worry about. Okay, so now the rainy season ends tomorrow, and then it begins the dry season, so sunny weather is guaranteed for like the next 7 or so days. Like until the end of spring, basically. And I think maybe the first few days of summer. But so what happens is there's a cutscene for when you get your horse to 1 heart, and there's a cutscene that happens when you get your horse to 2 hearts. So I didn't actually mean to check that, but as you can see, my horse is now at 1 heart, so that cutscene is now queued up, so it's forcing sunny weather, and it will force sunny weather until I go out and watch that cutscene. But whilst I'm doing this, because I don't need to manually feed my horse because it's forcing sunny weather, eventually my horse will get a 2nd heart, which will queue up another cutscene. And then once you have 2 hearts with your horse and 120 affection with Bob, which these next few cutscenes will push him over the edge to get 120 affection, you then queue up another cutscene. So I'm going to activate this first cutscene on the 24th. I'm then going to put my horse... No, it's the next one you need to do that for. It's okay. Because then, so, yeah. There's a weird thing with the, with, not this cutscene, but then the cutscene afterwards, where if you get your horse in this year, and like the year that you begin the file, you need to put your horse inside the barn. To then activate that cutscene. Whereas if you get it, if you've already had it, and you're doing like a New Game Plus playthrough, then it can stay outside. So this is the cutscene where I usually forget to take my horse out, and the reason I do is because this cutscene then like activates the horse races. So yeah, so I can't skip this cutscene because in it Bob is going to ask me if I want to partake in a horse race, which I do. So in case I forget, someone in chat, please do me a favour and remind me at the end of the horse race for Gwen to take my horse out of the barn. And basically why the first half of the run is important that you get your horse at a certain point is because if you get it just even like a couple days later, it means doing the horse race on like these days means you haven't had your horse for long enough. So it's not actually good enough. It's like, doesn't have enough affection to win the horse race against Gwen. I think if that does happen, you can kind of then like, you can push those days, those like 3 cutscene days back a little bit, and it shouldn't make too much of a difference. Like, it'll lose you time, but you won't lose the run, hopefully. Okay, 51:26 is good. I think that's like roughly my best time. Oh, the 51:06, that's a really good time. Okay. Right. Take my horse out the barn. Take my horse out the barn. Take my horse out the barn. As soon as I get back to my farm, take my horse out the barn. Thank you, Boberto. Now we've got a visual reminder. Okay, so this next part of the run is waiting 7 days, watching a cutscene, and then waiting 7 more days. If it doesn't rain at all in these next 14 days, that's perfect luck. Because every time it rains, I then have to put my horse back inside and feed it. So the more it rains, the worse luck that is. 3, 4. No, horse, you were like you were facing like the perfect way, and then you changed. Five. And this is the problem, like every time it rains, you then have to take your horse out of the barn again. So it doesn't seem like a big deal, but yeah, unfortunately rainy days do kind of still cost you a little bit of time in this last section. Six. 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay, now I'm confused. Oh wait, no. Okay, no. 3. I might just be wasting time here. Okay, I may have accidentally wasted a few, like half a minute or so, because he may only take your horse for 1 day. But I completely forgot about that last section. So yeah, there's actually 3 cutscenes at the end after you win the horse race, not 2. There's one where Bob checks on you to make sure your horse is doing alright. There's a second one where Bob takes away your horse, which I was thinking that was like the ending cutscene, but it's not. He takes your horse to the horse race. And then I don't actually remember whether the next cutscene is just the day after or a week later. I'm going to check that. And it doesn't say in Heinz's notes, of course. But yeah, that's basically ending. And then because we use a slightly different timing, timing stops for these runs at the end of the post-credits cutscene. So that run went actually really well. Yeah, basically the only thing that could have gone better is that 1 day of rain in the last section, and if I remembered how long the last cutscenes are, or like how many days there are supposed to be between the final cutscene, or the penultimate cutscene, and the final cutscene, because I may have wasted like 10 seconds or so sleeping like a few extra days. But that's not really a problem, honestly. Yeah, it's only the next day that you get the ending cutscene. So yeah, like luckily sleeping in this game doesn't take up a bunch of time. Like if this was like Wonderful Life or something, where you have to do 4 sleeps just to get through a day, then that would have wasted a bit of time. But sleeping is like really quick in this game, so that only took maybe like 10 seconds, 10-20 seconds of time loss. But yeah, now I just have to wait for everything to end. I just have to wait for the credits and the post-credit scene. I'm pretty sure there's like no talking in the post-credit scene in this ending, so I don't even have to worry about like mashing text, which is always nice. The ending cutscene itself actually isn't that long either. I'm getting flashbacks to the the treasure hunt endings, where the final cutscene is like 5 minutes and it just takes the absolute piss. It's painful. But speaking of that, the post-credits cutscene is definitely not that long, and the world record is currently a 50 something. So this is probably going to be world record. What's the reasoning behind waiting for the credits run verification? So originally the timing stopped at the end of the final cutscene, so it would stop between the final cutscene and the credits, and one of the other runners of the game and moderator of the Harvest Moon series, Hines, decided that I think it's because of something to do with like timing for all end, like how the all endings run ends timing. It got changed to after post credits. So I don't know his exact reason as to why like he thought it should be changed, but I think that's like the general idea, was that it was something to do with how timing, it made more sense to end all endings that way. So it kind of got like added on for the other, for like the regular any percent and New Game Plus endings as well. There we go, 48:56. Yeah, the old world record was 40 minutes 50, which did actually use the new timing as well. Like a bunch of the old, like the runs on the leaderboard still have the old timing, so you kind of compare when you like before you get to the credits. But yeah, that's a new world record. Wow. That's also probably my first world record in this game in maybe like 2 years, in a category that actually has some like minor competition.